Welcome back. You're watching BizSense here on ANN7 with me, Cindy Mabi. Now, a serial entrepreneur, visionary investor, published author and trendsetter with more than 37 years of experience with the South African Reserve Bank as an economist. The list to describe Dr. Daleen Smal is endless. Well, we welcome the dynamic lady. Thanks indeed for joining us. And I mean, this wealth or the art of money, etc., is a subject that has a lot of us very captured or captivated. I mean, how did you even get in the business?
Well, actually, everybody, your life goes in phases, and I've reached the phase of retirement. So I had to leave the Reserve Bank because that's the age at which you have to leave the bank. And I just moved into the next phase in my life. It's important to move through your phases and not get stuck in a previous phase. And it was actually my mother who said, you know, why don't you use your knowledge and help more people in the process and share what you know on a broader audience, not only nationally but also internationally, because I used to work on the national economy, and then I can contribute further.
That's wonderful. So you've got best-selling books, a lot of material online, but in terms of just speaking to ordinary people like myself, who doesn't necessarily have an inclination around the economics and all things financial, what kind of message are you saying? Are you telling them?
Well, the base of the book, while you're saying, ordinary people, many years ago, when my nephews and nieces were in high school, I started millionaire letters to them, explaining the economy and wealth. And that's what my mom actually said, why don't you use it in the book? So the book is really written in a very accessible way and explaining not only economics, because you need to understand, for you to build your wealth, you need to understand inflation and the impact of inflation on the erosion of the value of your money. And you have to make your investments in such a way that your real interest rate or the compound interest rate, that you start using the power of compound interest rate in beating inflation.
Okay, but when we're dealing with people saying there's more month left than what there is salary, and the cost of living, etc., private school and medical aid being too expensive to even have a budget, I mean, what do you, and what's your business case when it comes to that, where people just feel we're over indebted anyway, there's no way out?
In my book, when I started it, I wanted to start it like a normal sort of personal financial book with the money. And then when I started to think, but why is it that some people seems to be able to manage their money and others don't? And when I started looking into that, then it comes back to the root of where everything comes from, and it's you.
And that's in the heart. That's
it's you.
What your values are and that, what you believe.
Yeah, and you have to value money to accumulate money. And if you don't have the value of wealth, you're going to struggle to accumulate wealth.
But and then, and I meant to say, no, money is the root of all evil, and I'm better off with the little bit that I have. It's not, that's not the right message.
If you when I was in my career in the central bank and there's a crisis, there's always a lot of noise. And you have to learn and sort of get the ability to look through the noise. And when you look at your own finances and you cut away all the fluff, then you get to the bottom of what you earn and what you spend. And the only way to accumulate wealth is if you spend less than what you earn. So you only have two options. Either you need to increase your income or you need to reduce your expenses.
Okay, but talk us through the workshops that you have, because obviously this is not something we can completely grasp in about 8 minutes. But how do you assist those of us that do want, you aspire to have a comfortable life when you retire, be able to take holidays, etc., and give a little bit in terms of philanthropy? So what kind of workshops do you do? And
well, the system that I've designed basically stands on 4 pillars. First, to master yourself. Because we all get born as a blank canvas, but then people start giving input into your mindset. And once you start believing, it's not for me, I'm on the wrong side of the rail tracks, I grew up in the wrong neighborhood, you need to get over that. You need to master yourself so that you can understand, but wealth is for me also. And then you need to get the skills that's necessary for you to acquire the wealth. And then you manage your finances. The second pillar is get positive cash flow. because you need positive cash flow. So to help people to budget, to manage their money. And the bottom line is you give every rand that you earn a name, like an employee. And you have to take care that that employee is doing something for you that accumulates your health and not just spend it.
Okay, but this is something that obviously is very engaging, and it's a
Yes.
continuous learning
Yes.
process.
Yes.
So you need to go back and evaluate what it is that you had planned and revisit the area. So you have to do a lot of writing, isn't it?
Yes, exactly. You have to plan your life. You need to know what you want, because if you don't know what you want or where you're going, you'll end up anywhere.
Yeah. And just wishing to win the lottery. I mean, somebody of 187 million
Yeah.
rand, they don't even know it. I wish they were my friend. So you can't spend your life obviously hoping that your
No.
circumstances will change if you're not actively involved in it.
Exactly. If it's to be, it's up to me.
If it's to be, it's up to me.
Yeah. And the moment you start blaming or finding excuses, you give up the power of your life. When you accept responsibility for yourself and your wealth, then you can start doing something about your situation. Because otherwise, you just move it to somebody else and you're hoping and praying somebody else is going to do something for you.
Are your services accessible to the public, corporates? How does it work?
Well, at the moment, I am busy with the online course that accompanies this book. And I want to make it accessible to a broader audience, because if it's one-on-one, you reach just a number of people. If it's open on the internet, and that's the way the world is going, everything is on the internet, then obviously I can reach more people.
Is it subscription-based? Is it free?
No, it's subscription-based,
Yeah.
obviously. It's priced in United States dollars, the course, $997. But I do have speaking engagements in South Africa as well, where we're speaking to audiences. On the 6th of August, there is an event in Monte Cassino, where myself and other speakers will also talk on the subject of creating your wealth.
Okay, just to give hope to somebody who feels the noose is tightening around them, there's this bottomless pit of debt that they don't find themselves, or even having the vision that they could get themselves out of. Where do you start?
First of all, you need to look where you are right now, and I can promise you, everybody spends a lot of money on things that they want, but they don't really need. And if you really can get to that, to ask why do I want this? And find out whether it is just an impulse that you're using. And if you start cutting on that, you'll get your cash flow, you'll get your net worth growing.
All right, Dr. Smal, really wonderful talking to you. And the details, of course, on the 6th of August, Monte Cassino. And you can go onto their website and book with Dr. Daleen Smal. And, of course, you can get yourself an autographed copy of the book, The Art of Money, How to Win the Wealth Game. I am so on board. It's not even funny. Lovely having you indeed, as always. Now, Sub-Saharan Africa remains one of the fastest growing regions in the world. And this is despite a relative slowdown. And according to Ernst & Young, 2016 Africa Attractiveness Program